Hey everybody, Sickness here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. Today I did a little shopping at one of my local Salvation Armies, a store I don't normally shop at very often. It's right by my work, but it's sort of in a bit of the ghetto, and for that reason I don't go in there too often. The people who shop in that store are a little scary. I feel really uncomfortable going into that store. In fact, while I was in there today, I was rummaging through all the VHS tapes, and this fellow walks right up to me, almost touching me. He's like right next to me. And he starts singing Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman. Very, very weird. Top of his lungs just starts singing. I just ignored him and just kept looking through the VHS tapes. But on the plus side, I did find a few titles, so let's take a look at what I got. The first thing I picked up were 3 CD soundtracks, all for $1 a piece. First one being the soundtrack to The Ref. This here is just simply the score. I haven't listened to this yet. When it comes to scores, they're kind of hit or miss with me. Sometimes I like them, sometimes not so much. But got the movie, so definitely had to pick up the soundtrack. The next title I picked up was the soundtrack to Running Scared. This was a great soundtrack from a great movie. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. As far as the soundtrack goes, it's just great 80s cheese. If you love 80s pop, just synthesized music, you're gonna love this. And I'm a huge fan of that music. I just think it's great, it's cheesy, it's so bad, but it's so much fun. I love listening to it. This is completely full of it. Only features 9 songs, unfortunately, but still, it's a great soundtrack. Just features some fantastic music. I definitely recommend checking this one out. And the last soundtrack that I picked up was the soundtrack to Josie and the Pussycats. This was amazing. I've been listening to this one all day. Listened to it while I was at work, listened to it on my way home in the car, and then immediately when I got home, put it on my iPod, and I've been listening to it all night. I am really enjoying this soundtrack. It's a great sort of like mid-90s, late 90s pop punk, kind of alternative rock sort of sound, and it's actually really well done. The lead vocals in here are done by Kay Hanley, the lead singer of Letters to Cleo, so you got that going for it. It is actually an amazingly well done soundtrack, and I remember when this movie came out, I remember that the movie did pretty badly, got really, really bad reviews, and I guess rightfully so. I like the movie, I actually enjoyed the movie, but you gotta be in the kind of cheeseball movies to really enjoy it. But the soundtrack, I remember, actually it got some praise, and rightfully so. It's a great soundtrack. As far as all the original songs go, the original songs are really well done. There are 2 cover songs on here. They're okay. I guess I'm not a big fan of cover songs, but I guess all in all, for cover songs, they're pretty well done. Also features 2 songs by Du Jour, which if you've seen the movie, they're the boy band of the movie. They're not the greatest songs on here. I've been skipping over them all day simply because they're boy band songs, and I have no interest in boy band music. But at least they're sort of comedical. There's a song called Backdoor Lover. You can guess what that song's about. So, they're not very good, but at least they're comedical. But as far as all the Josie and the Pussycat songs, fantastic. I would highly recommend picking this soundtrack up. If you like great, like I said, late 80s, or late 90s to mid 90s, sort of pop punk, alternative music, you're gonna like this. Definitely check this one out. It's a fantastic soundtrack. Now into the cinema. And today I picked up a whole bunch of Power Rangers. First title I grabbed was Money Morphin Power Rangers, I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger. Haven't seen this episode yet. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. Love the Power Rangers. Hopefully this will be a lot better than Alpha's Magical Christmas, which I'm sure it will be, because this is actually an episode, whereas Alpha's Magical Christmas was a straight to VHS thing, and it was just so bad. So I'm sure it's going to be a lot better. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. Then I grabbed Money Morphin Power Rangers all-time favorites, White Light, the miniseries. Really know nothing about it. I have not seen this one yet. Again, I'm still just getting into the Power Rangers, but I absolutely love what I've seen so far, so definitely looking forward to checking it out. And the last title I grabbed, again, was Money from Power Rangers, all-time favorites, The Good, the Bad, and the Stupid, The Misadventures of Bulk and Skull. As it says here, only available on video. Definitely looking forward to checking this one as well. I love Bulk and Skull. They're great characters. I'm just really starting to dig Money from Power Rangers, so really looking forward to checking this one out. So that's what I bought today, so now it's what I watched. And today I checked out Billy Elliot. This was a fantastic story. Going into this, I'd heard a lot of good things. People were telling me about how great it was, how much I was going to love it. I saw a lot of good reviews on this movie, and I gotta say, lived up to everything I heard. It was fantastic. It's a great drama about a boy who decides he wants to do ballet, he wants to dance, and the struggle he has to go through convincing his friends, family, and some of the people from town that, it's okay to dance. It doesn't mean you're gay. It doesn't mean, not to be anything wrong with that, but it doesn't mean you're gay. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, doesn't mean you're weird. It just means you're a boy and you want to dance. That's absolutely fine. Just, again, the struggle he has to go through to convince everybody that it's okay and that, kind of he wants to do what he wants to do. And it is a fantastic drama about that. I would highly recommend it. If you like dramas, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. However, I do have some criticism to give it. And one of the things is, I think it was way too easy for him to convince his family that it was okay for him to dance. I was a little bit, put off by that. The fact that, his father's really against it. He's being a dick about it. He's, telling you, no son of mine's going to dance, blah, blah, blah. His brother's also kind of the same way. And basically, they do a little bit of, him struggling to kind of convince his parents, it's not his parents, his mom's dad, but his dad, trying to convince his dad. His brother's still, very hesitant about it. But, he's going through this kind of struggle. And then he, eventually he does like a little dance for his dad. And the dad kind of goes, oh, he's really good. Now all of a sudden I 100% support him. And I thought it was just a little too easy. I would have liked, it was a 2-hour movie, but even in that 2 hours, I just didn't think he struggled quite enough. I would have liked to have seen more struggle for him to do what he wants, to really convince his father and his brother that he really wanted to dance, instead of him just doing a little dance for his dad and everything being okay basically from there on out. I just thought that was it was a little too easy, a little too quick. Even his brother, even after he convinces his dad, his brother's still a little hesitant about it, but then his brother pretty much opens up to it pretty quickly. His old boxing coach, he was really against it too, and then he kind of opens up to it really quickly as well, just out of the blue. He's sort of rooting for him. So that was the only downfall I'd say of the movie, is that it seemed a little bit too easy for him to convince. It just sort of happens. It wasn't necessarily a huge struggle. That was the only downfall. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. Maybe they would have made the movie. Not that this movie necessarily should have been 2.5 hours, but if they would have added that extra half hour of him really struggling to, just all the pressure and all the struggle that he had to go through to dance basically, and have people support his love for dancing, that would have been great. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. So, like I said, that's really the only downfall, but it's easy to overlook. It's still a really good, really strong story that, even though it does kind of come a little bit too easy, you can look past it. Also, there's a girl in this movie that, it's sort of like, it's almost a love interest. You can see there's one scene where they're kind of doing a little bit of flirting. They're pillow fighting. Billy lands on top of her, and you look like they're maybe going to kiss. The little girl's definitely flirting with him a lot. That nothing ever comes out of that. That only happens a very little bit, and you think maybe there's going to be sort of a love interest here, but it never amounts to anything. That was sort of a little weird that they threw that in there, and then nothing ever became of that. That's not necessarily a downfall. That can be overlooked as well. And then at the end of the movie, again, nothing really bad here, but just me nitpicking. At the end of the movie, they show Billy. He's doing Swan Lake. I think I believe it's 14 years later. Obviously, he's not a little kid anymore. He's older. His friend from town, he's there. He's older too. And his dad and his brother sit down, and they look exactly the same. Obviously, the Billy Elliot and his friend from town, they're played by different characters because they're older now. Are different actors because they're older now. But the dad and the brother, obviously, they're played by the same actors, but they look exactly the same. They don't look like they've aged one bit, which I know it's only 14 years. Maybe they wouldn't age that crazy, because when you're a kid, obviously you age a lot faster. Looking how you look, I think he's 11 in this. From 11 till 14 years later, yeah, there's gonna be a pretty big difference there, as opposed to when you're older, there's not gonna be a huge difference. But I think they would have looked maybe a little different. They looked exactly the same. That was a little weird too. But again, this is just me nitpicking, just me pointing out some things that maybe could have been changed to make it a little bit better. But in the long run, it's still a fantastic story. If you like dramas, if dramas are your thing, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. It's a great British film. I would definitely recommend checking this one out. So that's it for what I bought when I watched today. I picked up some great soundtracks. I would highly recommend the soundtrack to Josie and the Pussycats. That is amazing. Has some great music on it. I'd also recommend the soundtrack to Running Scared. That has some great 80s music on it. If you like 80s music, definitely check that one out. And like I said, I haven't listened to the ref yet, but I'll be listening to that one soon. Also, we're looking forward to watching my Money from Power Rangers titles. Love that show. Really getting into it. Definitely looking forward to checking those out. And Billy Elliot, watching that, it was fantastic. I would highly recommend it. It is a great drama. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what I bought and what I watch tomorrow. See ya.